Good evening and welcome to the February 2nd, 2016 meeting of the Downers Grove Village Council. My name is David Olson. It's my pleasure to serve as Mayor Pro Tem. Mayor Tully is absent tonight, and so I will be presiding at tonight's council meeting. And it's my honor to call this meeting to order. We have copies of our agenda on either side of the room. Feel free to pick one up and follow along with our proceedings as we go along. There's also multiple opportunities for public comment, both with regard to items not appearing on tonight's agenda and items appearing on tonight's agenda. We'll get to those items shortly. But first, let us start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. I'd now ask our village clerk, April Holden, to please call the roll.
Commissioner Walden.
Here.
Commissioner White.
Here.
Commissioner Fatimo. Here. Commissioner Jose.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Olson.
Here.
Commissioner Barnett. Mayor Tully.
We have a quorum. We next have the minutes of council meetings. Is there a motion with regard to these minutes?
Mayor Pro Tem, I move that we approve the minutes as stated on the agenda.
I second.
Sorry.
Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Those are approved. We now are at the point, public comment of a general nature. This is an opportunity for members of the public to comment on items not appearing on tonight's agenda. If you come up to the podium, state your name. We'll be happy to hear from you. Seeing no one moving forward, we'll move on to the consent agenda, item 5. Is there a motion with regard to the consent agenda?
Mayor Pro Tem, I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Is there any discussion from members of the public on the consent agenda? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner White.
Aye.
Commissioner Walden.
Aye.
Commissioner Fatimo. Aye. Commissioner Jose.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Olson.
Aye. That matter passes unanimously. We next move to our active agenda. There are no items on our active agenda, so we'll move to our first reading agenda. At this time, as per custom, I'll turn it over to Village Manager David Fieldman.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. 2 ordinances on tonight's first reading agenda. The first would authorize participation in an IEPA loan program for water improvements. Here to present background information on this item is our Finance Director, Judy Butney.
Ms. Butney?
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. Staff is requesting approval and ordinance to authorize the village to borrow funds from the IEPA through the Public Water Supply Program, which provides low-interest loans for water projects. The current rates under this program are 1.86% for a 20-year loan, which compares to current rates of 2.7% from issuing bonds. So on a $3 million loan, this would result in savings of about $300,000. It's a cost-effective way of borrowing because in addition to the savings on the interest, there are no fees for a financial advisor, ratings agency, or underwriters, as there are with the municipal bond offering. The village anticipates borrowing about $15 million during the next 5 years, or about 1 loan a year, for capital projects for water. These projects have been detailed in the 5-year project planning document, which has already been approved by the IEPA. So the next steps in this process will be for council to award the 2016 water main replacement contracts and approve the loan. It's estimated that the 2016 projects will total about $3 million. I'd be happy to entertain any questions.
Any questions or comments from members of the Village Council at this time? Commissioner Jose?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Just wanted to note that this is something I've been in the ear of Manager Fieldman about for probably 2.5 or 3 years now. Glad to see that it finally fits with what we're looking to do and that it's cost effective for the village to take advantage of it. And I'm glad we're able to save a few dollars while continuing to accomplish these infrastructure projects. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any further questions or comments from members of the Village Council? Hearing none, any questions or comments from members of the public? We do have one member of the public approaching.
Good evening, Council, staff. My name is Tom LeCren, 545 Chicago Avenue. I'm just curious, do we ever gain a guarantee that the state has the money in this program that we can borrow, given the state of Illinois? Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem, we did ask
Yes.
that question, given the current status of the state and their budget challenges. They have indicated that that money is there and available. So at this point, yes, we will continue to monitor. If things change, we will report back to the council.
Thank you, Manager Fieldman. Further questions or comments from members of the public on this item? If not, I think we can move on to item B.
Which is an ordinance providing for the issuance of refunded or refinanced bonds. And here to present information on that is Judy.
Okay, the village's financial advisor, Robert Baird, has advised us about a potential refunding opportunity on our 2008 stormwater bonds. This refunding is estimated to save the village $851,000 or 11% in net present value savings, and this savings is net of all fees. Pending approval of this ordinance, the official statement will be prepared. The village and Baird will obtain a bond rating on the refunding. The bonds will be priced the week of March 14th, and the closing will be held the week of March 28th. Happy to answer any questions on this item.
Any questions or comments from members of the Village Council? Questions or comments from members of the public? Hearing none.
That ends our first reading tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Manager Fieldman. That brings us to item 8, Mayor's Report. There is no report. Item 9, Manager's Report.
Please join us for a discussion with the Village Council about the stormwater utility scheduled for Tuesday, February 16th. There's background information, a complete report on the village website right now. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Manager Fieldman. Item 10, Attorney's Report.
Thank you. 2 items to present this evening. The first is an ordinance authorizing the village to borrow funds from the Public Water Supply Loan Program of the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency. And the second is an ordinance providing for the issuance of general obligation refunding bonds, Series 2008A, both of which will appear on next week's active agenda.
Thank you, Attorney Petrarca. We are next at council member reports. We'll start with Commissioner Jose.
No report, thank you.
Commissioner Waldeck.
No report?
Commissioner Vertimo.
No report.
Commissioner White.
No report.
I will just note that Boy Scout Venture Crew 57, which is based out of St. Paul's Church at 5739 Dunham Road, is having a boxcar pasta supper and model railroad open house. This is on Saturday, February 6th, this coming Saturday, from 5 to 7 p.m. They have a whole boxcar set, and that'll be operating. There's pasta dinner, obviously, and this is to raise funds for that Venture Crew 57. So hope that members of the public will join me and others there at that event on Saturday. That brings us to the end of council member reports. We next have council member new business. This item was introduced by Commissioner Jose, or presented by Commissioner Jose, so I'll turn it over at this time for him to introduce the item and move the item.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Far be it for me to stand between us and a very quick close to a council meeting, so I will keep this brief. I was proud to support the reinstatement of the appropriation for Meals on Wheels here in Downers Grove. I opposed it when it was cut initially from the audience, and I was pleased to cast a vote in favor of it. It's a wonderful program that helps take care of seniors throughout our village and many seniors across DuPage County. And very disappointed to see the effects on that program here in DuPage as a result of the budget impasse in Springfield. So I'd like to ask my colleagues on the council to support the drafting and ultimately the adoption, I hope, of a resolution calling on Springfield, the General Assembly and the Governor to support the passage of a budget for at least Meals on Wheels so that that program can continue to serve the very needy folks that benefit from it today. So there's the request.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right. I assume the motion is to direct staff to prepare a resolution regarding funding for Meals on Wheels, just to clarify. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Excellent. Discussion from other members of the Village Council at this time. Commissioner Waldeck.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I totally support the preparation of a resolution that urges the leadership in Springfield to pass legislation to financially support the Meals on Wheels program. The proposed resolution does need a slight wordsmithing from what was presented to us. I would suggest that the fifth whereas be corrected. For one thing, we don't know how temporary the reductions are going to be, and we went from 5 deliveries per week to 2. So I would suggest the following rephrasing. Whereas this funding interruption has seen reductions of Meals on Wheels home delivery to 2 deliveries from 5 per week in DuPage County, and then it goes to the next whereas. There was an extra from in there that needs to be corrected. My feedback from the people of Downers Grove is overwhelmingly in favor of supporting Meals on Wheels, which I'm proud we did as a municipality. Apparently, the lack of support in Springfield comes from the same people who did not support it locally. I've asked staff to include the contact information for all elected officials who represent Downers Grove to be placed on our website so that this and other issues can be relayed by the residents to their elected officials. Just a note, how times have changed. In the 13th century, the cardinals were supposed to elect a pope, and they were provided with adequate light, heat, and were well fed. After 3 days, when they failed to reach a decision, they were reduced to 1 meal a day. After 5 days, they were only received bread and water. They were denied revenue, light, heat, and in 1269, the people of Viterbo removed the roof so that the cardinals would have to face the elements. In Springfield, they haven't even paid their utility bills, and the lights and heat are still on. So those who are well-paid, well-lit, well-warmed, and well-fed elected officials don't mind when their constituents lose their utilities, food, and material needs. I think we have much to learn from the 13th century conclaves, and they should be all locked up, the General Assembly and the governor together, until they come to some sort of a reasonable conclusion for their constituents. And although the locking them up together, that just might result in a cage match, I think. I think we should support such a resolution and urge everyone to contact their officials like Christine Radonio and Ron Sandak to change their positions and support programs like Meals on Wheels. Mayor Pro Tem, that's all I have, and I expect to support this next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Waldeck. Other comments from members of the Village Council?
Very briefly, I'll also be supporting a resolution along these lines. I think it's very important that we make it clear that we believe Meals on Wheels is a serious program that addresses core services of government, and it's not merely another charity, which is something I find to be a false and pernicious notion. So with that, I'll be supporting the resolution.
Thank you. Further discussion. Commissioner Jose.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I just want to thank Commissioner Waldeck for his input, and we'll have to take a look back at the minutes to make sure I caught all the language. I did prepare, for the benefit of the audience, I did prepare a draft resolution that I asked Manager Fieldman to circulate to the council so that we at least had an idea of what my thoughts were, and try to take a bit of the burden off of staff so they don't have to do necessarily all the wordsmithing. But I appreciate the input and look forward to it coming forth next week for first reading. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. With that, I'd ask for a vote on the motion to direct staff to prepare a resolution regarding funding for Meals on Wheels. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Jose?
Aye.
Commissioner Waldeck?
Aye.
Commissioner White?
Aye.
Commissioner Vattimo?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Olson?
Aye. That matter passes unanimously and brings us to the end of our agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Mayor Pro Tem, I move to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner White?
Aye.
Commissioner Waldeck?
Aye.
Commissioner Vattimo?
Aye.
Commissioner Jose?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Olson?
We are adjourned. Aye. We are adjourned.